Everyone, and yeah, we're back to speedrunning, and it's been a while since I've done a YouTube video. Please make sure you like this video and subscribe, all that malarkey. And I'm going to try to teach you the right things to do around this grade of 2000. We've gradually come up. I've made it 10 minutes, a bit longer. Going to play Chessbrah London, playing someone quite strong here, 2159. And he's copying my setup here and following my latest Chessbrah London course, which you can buy from gingergm.com. E4 is the way to rock and roll. And now we've gone into a kind of French defense system where I have a bit more space. So we're just going to follow general principles, which are control the center, get your knights and bishops out, and get castled in most likelihood. So let's bring this knight out. We don't need to do anything particularly special at the start of the game. My opponent has pinned me. Am I worried about that? Well, he's got a threat against this pawn. So I can either defend the pawn, I want to keep developing, or do something with the pawn. I like keeping the tension at the start, and this keeps the tension and it develops. And now that my opponent's moved his knight here, I can pin that knight, develop another piece, but moving the pawn forwards becomes a bit more attractive. I guess his idea is to move the knight in here. And then I can go bishop d2, and I quite like that position because in the French defense, this is where knowing other openings helps you a little bit. The main break is c5, but his knight's in the way of that break, so it's very hard to break down my center. He's going to have to rely on the move f6 to do that. So I'm just going to defend this knight now. Okay, he can win the bishop pair, but I'm not so worried. And now, do I keep the bishops on the board? I think I double my pawns, but I'm getting a good initiative. And now I could castle here, but I'm going to play h4. And the reason for that is, if he castles, I have a Greek gift, followed by knight g5. My opponent playing very quickly here. He's clearly, with this move, stopping my bishop coming here. And what I'm going to try to do is make it a little bit difficult for him to castle on either side. Am I worried about this move? Not necessarily. But I'm going to play a4 anyway, just gaining space over there. My opponent playing so quickly here. So he's now stopped the Greek gift idea, but there's going to be ideas of sacrificing here. Now, again, I know this setup quite well. And a very standard idea here is to swing the rook around, in actual fact. But first of all, I'm going to just push this pawn one square further. My opponent now trying to come into this square. He's moving very quickly. Let's continue with the rook swing. So I'm going to bring my rook up. He's trying to out blitz me here, which really doesn't worry me so much. He's playing very sensible moves though. He's trying to keep his position quite solid as we go. Now, do I try to get rid of his dark square bishop? That's quite an interesting idea. I could also try to get my queen to exert some pressure, and I like that square for my queen. But I don't really want him to castle queenside, where he seems a bit safe. So what ideas do we have here? I could also think about using this pawn to exert some pressure on his position. Any sacrifices happening around here? Not that I can see. Maybe I should be exchanging dark square bishops. Let's try this plan, because then g7 becomes a little bit weaker. So we'll go for this maneuver. And he's got to think of a way to defend g7 now. Okay, so he attacks my rook. I move the rook back. And he's castled now. Very brave move. Or foolhardy. Now I'm going to bring this one back. I'm actually speeding up a little bit because my opponent's playing quickly. So I feel like I can do the same. And I'm just going to guard f2, and I'm getting ready to bring my knight in. My knight's going to find a very good square. He's not thinking at all, this guy. I'm not sure why he's not thinking. He drops the pawn, and now I'm going to bring my knight around to a better square. He somehow doesn't, he really doesn't want to think, does he? So I'm just going to put him in his place, this guy, because, you know, playing instantaneous, I don't understand why people do this at this time limit. Because why not play bullet chess? You know, if you wanna play this speed. And because I'm material up, I'm just gonna swap pieces off. I'm gonna get my next rook into the game. So let's bring it over, and I'm gonna happily swap off another piece. I'm gonna try to swap off another pair of rooks, and I'm struggling to understand what my opponent has been trying to achieve in this game by moving instantaneous. It seems really bizarre. I mean, at this time limit to play like this doesn't make any sense to me. And he might win one pawn back, but this ending is losing for him. This pawn now is going to drop. He's really just not thinking at all about his moves, and we activate the king in the ending. Let's just control this rank so he can't check me. We'll push his king back by using this pawn. We've pushed his king back now. And now I probably want to put my king on the square there, and then use my pawn like this. So I'm going to put my rook on g3 to guard this one. Now my king is ready to come in, and this pawn will decide the day. He will have to give up everything in order to avoid me queening, and obviously it's an easy win now. But what's this guy doing? Anyone understand what this guy was? Why is he playing instantaneous? I mean, maybe this is not one of the better ones to demonstrate ideas, but when someone plays instantaneous in a 10-minute game, I kind of get a bit annoyed, because it's like, come on man, think man, this is a 10 minutes game, and you're it's not going to work by playing instantaneous. You're going to play bad moves. But we'll have a quick look after this one at what normal things we did right and what normal things our opponent did wrong. Okay, well, first of all, the opening I think we explained quite a lot of, and my opponent was playing again far too quickly. And I think this position is quite nice because it's like a French defense, but he doesn't have any way. You've got to break these pawns up in the center if you play this way as black. This is one of the key rules of the French defense. You've got to either play f6 or c5. Now my opponent played okay moves here. This was aimed at preparing this one if he castled, the typical Greek gift sacrifice. And I think all these are pretty normal moves. You've got to look for weaknesses in your opponent's position. This is a weakness, so now I come round and attack that weakness. My opponent defends it. And this is where I had to think a little bit, because he's quite well blockaded and he wants to castle queenside here. Well, it might be alright. So you need to have a plan in the middle game. And I'm just looking at this square because that's the weakness I've located. And there's only one piece guarding that one. This bishop is a great piece of mine. But the bishop here is not really doing much, right? So I can get rid of my bad piece and break down my opponent's defenses on this square. And this means that he's got to defend this one. And he castles straight into the attack here. And I really don't like this move. Maybe he should have just given this pawn up and even gone for counterplay with c5. But this move, to me, looks too risky. Now, there are other ways I could have played this. Maybe it would have been better to bring my queen over like this. Now I look at the position again. But this move also makes sense because my knight is ready to come in and attack. And he plays this break. Maybe he should have played it before. But the problem he has is that these pieces are not playing. His bishop is very bad. And in this kind of structure, it's very bad. If you've got the same piece that's on the same color squares, it's not a good piece. And, well, I just defend f2, and my knight now has a beautiful way in. My opponent made the critical mistake of not looking at my last move, see what it's threatening, but he's in a lot of trouble here because my knight also has this way in. Look at this beautiful bishop on the light squares. I think this position is already losing for him, in actual fact. Okay, well, look, I will keep this as a short video. It's good to be back doing a bit of YouTube. I'm going to try to get more stuff done, time. And also, sometimes you just need a little break from things in life, you know, like to get that freshness back. You know, I've been doing streaming and YouTube for a bit, and I want to I've been thinking about doing some new ideas. So I will keep these popular speedrun videos coming, but I want to come up with some new ideas as well. So leave new ideas in the comments below, eh? Give me some inspiration. That's what we all need down on the farm. Anyone know who sung that song? Good song. Anyway, cheers, like and subscribe. Another video I will do very soon. Bye for now.